Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
We President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the Alternative Dig Talk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenza abasajja abafunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke bino bintu byasenga nawe ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde tuyakedde ku macabaga nti nsitudde tu naye nga mutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyandyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
UPDF retires 15 generals alongside the plight of the Ugandans in the marathon that was in the Olympics Games. That and much more comes your way in this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I am a journalist and I am the show host alongside with my other colleague on the Mighty Drive every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We break dawn having a conversation with this country, and with this country I mean Uganda. Not only Uganda but the rest of the world. This is the Alternative Uganda and we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. We shall be giving you the link earlier on after the end of the show. Our producer makes sure that you are able to actually watch this on YouTube in real time, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. For the next 2 hours we're going to be having a conversation with Uganda, and today we are hosting a labor rights lawyer, by the way. He is called Mr. Muganga Ambrose Ibabaza. He will be joining us in a few minutes from now, and we shall be dissecting more on the labor laws of Uganda. Labor unions, are they still actually prevalent? Do we need them in this country? What happened to them in the first place? That and much more comes your way. And when you do a comparison between Uganda and Kenya, we find out that Kenya's labor unions have been thriving and have actually led to the emancipation of Kenya. They actually led to the birth of Kenya in 1963 and have been sustained even up to now, and workers and employees are always in these labor unions. How is this happening in this country that is different from our country? That and much more we will be asking Mr. Ibabaza a few minutes from now. But before we do that, allow me first of all, thank you so much for watching. And every day you spare your data to watch us from Monday to Friday. It's always an honor and a privilege, and I hope that you are blessed by what we actually serve you, because when you spend your data watching the Mighty Drive, it is also factor for us to say, let us give you the best that we can actually offer you. This is the Mighty Drive, and in Uganda's first ever mobile digitalized studio, where we bring the talk to you, our listener and our viewer. So we come to you, to your society, and give you the voice. We amplify your voice, listen to you, and give you a platform to air out actually what you want to tell the stakeholders or the people concerned. And yes, the relevant authorities shall come back and work on what you have told them. And this has been proven right, because as the media, we are the fourth estate, and then we are the gatekeepers to the country. So we talk about these things so that these particular individuals can as well come and be held accountable. And oftentimes they have been held accountable, and they have come out to actually change and do the better work in their systems. Allow me delve into the news today. Amaule Manja Gabadega Tambula Mugwanga, Uganda. Over 15 generals have been retired or were retired last week by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the UPDF at large. And over 600 other soldiers or UPDF members have been sanctioned to leave and retire themselves. Remember, the chief retiree was President Museveni. He retired a couple of years ago, and you've seen that many of his soldiers have come retiring over time. That's when you realize that President Museveni ditched the UPDF, ditching in a good way, because he retired and he took on a civilian role. That's why you saw him wearing suits. That is the president for you. He retired in the UPDF, but he's a retired general, and over 15 generals also retired. That was exactly last week. And according to Major General Takirwa was retiring a few members from the UPDF, the younger, junior, a bit not high-ranking soldiers, but he was retiring them, and he cautioned them onto self-discipline. He said that you people should be self-disciplined in terms of what are the things you say and where do you go. Some of you are going to be going to bars and you're going to get drunk. How is this going to help you as an individual develop yourself and you start your retired life? That is something he talked about, which is very vital, by the way, to the security personnel. How are you going to start your retirement process? So the thing is, go back. He told them to go back and start investments things for themselves that will yield income for them and their family in this time when they are retired. He also cautioned the soldiers of supporting the opposition. He said you shouldn't support the opposition. Just because you've now got the liberty here to leave the force, it does not mean that you need to oppose the government, because he said the way we have been treating the opposition is the same way that we are going to treat you as an individual. You're not going to remember that you were once a soldier. And this, rang a bell in my ears, and I'm like, hey, so there is a specific way that the opposition is handled in this country. Sometimes that is something that you will be surprised about. Ladies and gentlemen, the medical schools are yet to be opened. According to the Ministry of Education, they are going to be opened. It is going to be this particular week. I think it's going to be Friday. I'm not sure, but speculations are asserting that it may be Friday. The medical schools are going to be allowed to resume again, but with a population that does not exceed 33% of the entire people in this particular fraternities or schools. So the medical doctors of the medical students, I beg your pardon, I think there are also medical doctors in the process. Sometimes it's good to give them a bit of respect because they are better than us in terms of health. So these particular students are going to be resuming school. That will be this particular week. Let us wait and see how this is going to be planned out. But according to the Ministry of Education, not more than 33% of the entire population in these particular schools should return. So per time, 33% is the one that is going to be studying. So I don't know the rest of the population, how are they going to be doing it? Is it going to be online? Is it going to be in shifts? Is it actually sustainable? That and much more we'll find out as the week progresses. Uganda continues to celebrate the Olympics as they came to an end. That was, I think, last week on Saturday to Sunday, yes. We had Stephen Kiprotich and other people take part in the Olympics marathon, which saw a lot of words and speculations that were being mentioned in these particular races. Because remember earlier on, Peruth Chemutai and Cheptegei were some of the people who won themselves gold for Uganda. So these two individuals won gold for the country. And there comes Stephen Kiprotich, gold medalist winner. Remember he won in 2012. That was 2012 London, yes. Bali Muchibuge cha London. By the way, what empaka za Olympics tebatera nnyo kuzizanyira in terms of obaggwanga lyeri tegese kibeera ekibuga naye my dear okutegeka Olympics season, it's one of the most difficult things to do. Kati nsobola okuwa example, organizing a World Cup is easier than organizing the Olympics. Nti Olympics zibeeramu emizannyo mingi nnyo, ate Olympics zino zirimu politics naye mungi nnyo. So wokirabamu nti bwe bateeka no Olympics, they go ahead to build a new city. Nti bazimba ekibuga ekipya kye bayita Olympic Village. Aba Olympians we bagenda okubeeranga where they are going to reside in the time of Olympics. Kino kiba kibuga kiramba okidesigninga n'okizimba ng'okitegekedde zino empaka zokka eza Olympics. So it is very, very costly to host these Olympics, and it's very difficult at that. But there are various countries that have come out to organize these Olympics. So Muri those London yali 2012, 2016 Bali, I don't know exactly where they I don't remember very well. Twina 2028 bagenda kubeera ne Los Angeles. Ebibuga bingi ebizenga bitegeka Olympics zino. It's very, very, very costly in terms, by the way, of organizing. Naye ate sente zojjayo nazo zibeera nyingi nnyo. Olympics are very symbolic. Simanyi na when to say, but that is the origin of the Olympics. Nti bazitandikira ne ku mubala ogwa Citius, Altius ne Faultius. Bino nno bigambo by'aba Greek. Jukira Olympics zava mu ggwanga liri erya Greece, sorry, mu ba Greek abo. Ate abasajja bali so philosophical mu bigambo byabwe. So baali bagamba mbuno zino empaka zaatandikibwa mu mubala oba in the realm of Citius, Altius and Faultius. Ekitegeeza nti no, you have to be faster, it has to be higher, and you have to be strong. Until kuongeramu mu buli kyokola, it is not just games, it's more of a passion thing. Kuongeramu amaanyi, kuongeramu speed, ate kuongeramu n'okubeeranga higher. I don't know higher bachogera kya mu Luganda naye ndozo kitegera. So mu luno omubala baleetako ne slogan Olympics, by the way, zetambuliddeko from the 1800s, in fact from 1700s, because Olympics zatandika before Jesus was born, BC, before Christ. So zatandika, that is how long the Olympics have been there. So omubala gwe batandikirako gwali gugamba nti the most important thing in the Olympics games is not to win but to take part. Nti ekisinga amaanyi mu Olympics si kwe kuwangula naye kwetabamu. Ne bayonga ne bagamba just as the most important thing in life is not to triumph but the struggle. Nti ngawo ne mbulamu buno bwa bulijjo nti ekintu ekisinga amaanyi si kwe kuwangula naye eyo struggle oba ye process gy'oyitamu okutuuka ku buwanguzi. Ne bamaliza nga bagamba the essential thing is not to have conquered but to have fought well. Nti era ekisingira ddala omubala ogusinga si kwe kuba nti wawangudde naye walwanye bulungi. Kino kikulaga ki? Kino nkirese in light of abantu banabadde basekerera omwami Stephen Kiprotich atasobodde kumalako the 2021 Gun Marathon yabadde mu Tokyo. Teyasobodde gimalako mu Uganda oyo naye yawangula zaabu emyaka 8 emabega. That was 2012 yajja n'aleetera Uganda zaabu. By the way twali twakomandoza okufuna zaabu oba mu myaka gy'aba Akiboa 1972. Omwami ono najja mu 2012 naye twalabe bannamawulire bangi ne bannayuganda bangi abadde babashinga omwami ono nga bagamba byakoze oba si byamaanyi nnyo naye bakulaze wano mu bumala gwennyini ogwali gutandika Olympics nti n'okwetabamu kwokka akwali kukumala. That is already winning. Omusajja Abagreek kye bakugambye nibagamba mbuno it's not just obulamu si it's not just the triumph but it's the struggle. Nti olaba asobodde okutuuka awo ne mbulamu ne bagamba mbulamu bwa bulijjo kubanga obulamu tebuwangulwa singa twali tusobola okuwangula obulamu singa wali omuntu atafa but at the end of the day all of us ne bakutreating emirundi 10 ne wofuna n'olya biki n'obeera you have everything in life at the end of the day walumbe tosobola kumuwangula era there is a saying egamba mbuno walumbe ne weeyebaka wano nodduko otya amala nakukwata. So bana ba Greek kye bali bakutegeeza nga batandika emizannyo gino okumanya Stephen Kiprotich okubanga yetabye mu mizannyo gino it is already a triumph for him because si buli omuntu osobola okwetaba mu Olympic Games. So ekyo nkirese in light of Stephen Kiprotich ebintu byayiseemu kubanga teyasobodde malako marathon eno abantu ne bamwogerera naye omwami ye Kipchoge owa Kenya ye yaze n'awangula games zino yawangudde ebamuyita Eliud Kipchoge afuuse omunabyamizannyo owokusatu okubanga adefendinze gold emirundi ebiri because yagiwangula in 2016 era 2021 akomyewo n'awangula atono Eliud Kipchoge musajja zenga awangula emizannyo gino Olympic season marathons sorry ezenjawulo. I think for the last 16 marathons awangudde emirundi 14 n'abeera wokubiri omulundi gumu then omulundi omulala gumu yali wa 8. Ekikulaga nti n'omulenzi ono abadde on top of his game. He came in as favorite era yasobodde okubanga awangula zaabu ekyaleetedde Kenya okubanga liggwanga eryasinze okuwangula zaabu in terms of the Olympic Games in Africa. Ife twabadde bakubiri twabadde ne gold medals zabadde 2 then twabadde ne bronze twabadde ne silver mu Kenya ebadde n'emidaali gya gold gyabadde ndoze 4 gye bawangudde. So olabira ddala mbuno by the in Olympics season the more gold medals zowangula that is ekyo kikuleetera okuwangula si midaali gyonna mbuno nafunye emidaali mingi no emidaali gya zaabu wafunye emeka nti saa zino Uganda nebanga efunye emidaali gya zaabu 10 nga US yafunye emidaali gya silver 3 Uganda ebesinze United States which is not possible because Uganda yafunye emidaali gy'abadde endoze 2 gyokka egya zaabu. Ekyo kibadde in line of omwami ono Stephen Kiprotich n'abantu abadde bamusekererawo ku mukutu gwa social media naye wunya lwaki musekanga gwe toswana kusobola kukola ekintu kyako. You cannot even try it a bit but you're laughing at the gentleman. Mu mawulire amalala Kenya yaganye deputy waayo omwami William Ruto okubanga ayingira eggwanga Uganda week ewedde. Jukira William Ruto nobadde bamwogerako ebintu bingi okubanga maybe he was part of ali in line with Uganda bagala kubanga oba Uganda supporting okubanga afuuka president wa Kenya. So yatuuse wali ku kisaawe ky'ennyonyi nga yagala kulinnya akanyonyi ke ajje mu ggwanga erya Uganda ne bamugaana ne bamugamba at the end of ekisooka tetumanyi ogendera mu kiti ki ate woba ogenda ofuluma eggwanga tobuuza nakuba kutogamba kuba kama abo toyita mu hierarchy entuufu ogamba mbuno ngenda wano at this time and this time. So ne bamugaana okubanga ayingira eggwanga erya Uganda. Jukira William Ruto abadde ajja nnyo mu ggwanga lino emabegako mbadde mulaba nnyo nga abiri ne President Museveni oyo ekireetedde ebigambo okuyitangana mu Kenya nti President Museveni he might be behind William Ruto's bid for presidency. Now, at all, politics for East Africa, so Kubanga and new dynamics are coming through that two different countries, neighboring countries, can actually influence the politics of each other without them taking part in violence or anything like that. Kati President Museveni omulabanga naye atandise okubanga ayingirako politics za Kenya kiba kikulaga ki politics atandise okula mu ggwanga lino naye ate si kyekyo kyokka twalabye mbu ate ne Museveni alinga aline ku side ya Raila Odinga n'omwami Uhuru Kenyatta ayina engeri kwegamba ye alinga ali ku side zombi bbiri inateekayo omukono n'eno, and that is politics for you. By the way, politics, you don't have permanent friends and you don't have permanent enemies. Mwabagala okubiyingiramu nze no politics wa Uganda naddala yes abansi kule meme politics wa Uganda alimo over Katemba risik oba bakyogera batya simanya ali munnyo Katemba mungi nnyo era nze politics wa Uganda is something that I don't even think about joining anytime soon. Nga tugenda okumaliza ne story ndoza ya Lumbuye omwami ono Fred Lumbuye mu Uganda yatuuse mudda after being deported from Turkey. Bamuyingiza eggwanga ebigambo nabadde ayogera bingi ku mukutu ogwo ebyakalebule ayogera nnyo ebigambo omwami ono abamaanyi agajjawa ekintu ekyo kyentera okwebuuza naye Lumbuye yatuuse dda ku airport mu ggwanga lino yatuuka ku Saturday za saa 9 3 am eza kumacha simanyi lwaki baziyita za kumacha andaba wano tegera saa 9 ogw'ekiro wemba njogera because wano abazungu batuleeteramu zimaya 3 am ffe tumanyizibwa saa 9 ogw'ekiro so yatuuka ku saa 9 ogw'ekiro ne bamutwalirawo ndowooza aba CMI okubanga bamubuuza ebibuuzo ku bigambo byadda asinga okulebula president w'eggwanga lino. Jjukira yatuuka n'okumubika omwami ono ng'agamba president omanyi obeera waweeru w'eggwanga oyinza olowooza tokwatibwako kati nayo ya blogger bonna batandise okuzuukuka balabye we are not untouchable as we thought. Farida ali mukiseka wano naye nga kyekituufu Fred Lumbuye yadalowooza mbu yetakwatibwa akabeera eri n'ateeka manyi abantu tebamanyi you people don't know the power of a camera. Kyobula kamera we bagikuteekanga mu maaso we bati kabanga katego ng'ogyeteka munoyogera ebigambo naye kamera ye recording. At the end of the day abantu bajja oli abeera ne evidence era ebintu by'oyogera ate ebintu ebimu tobiinaako toli credible about it, you're not sure, you don't have evidence, you're also speculating as the rest, and you're also speaking. At the end of the day ekikugwako naddala in a country like Uganda ng'opolitikinga just like that without evidence, without background, nze ndowooza oba ogenda kuswazibwa. Kamalize n'ekirala just story eyasinze okunnyumira parliamentary investigations zakakasizza nti no obuwumbi bubiri 2.85 billion simanyi ng'egye bazoogera mu Luganda but obutabalika bubiri mu 885 ne million 805 2.85 billion by the way. Bano zino zagenda mu administrative costs eza relief aid nti wetwali tutandika okujjukira baspeaka wali 53 billion nga zakuyamba in terms abantu bano abali vulnerable. So kyategerekeddwa nti obuwumbi bubiri 2.85 billion zezakozesebwa in administrative costs nti zino tezatuuka ku bantu naye zezaali mu administration maya kusindika ssente. Kati ababaka ne beebuuza ssente mmeka ze twabaze per person. Twagala mu breaking down the 2.85 billion. By the way, we have had a problem of accountability in this country. Abantu bangi tebagala nnyo kubeera held accountable. Naye ababaka baabuuza jjuka ababaka baasindikiddwa deputy speaker ne babagamba baddeyo banoonyereze ku ssente zino eza COVID-19 ezagabwa how was it implemented, bantu bameka aba receiving ssente zino. Jjuka the members of parliament are our people. So in this realm obuwumbi bubiri mu 2.85 billion tezirabika paka sawa zino bagamba ziri in administrative costs. Parliament egambye egenda kunoonyereza nnyo finding out how actually this happened. Ndoza kamaliriza bannange kubanga omugenyi waffe Mr. Muganga Ambrose Ibabaza, he is a labor rights lawyer, he's already in the building. Agenda kuba twegatako nga tutandikako talking about labor unions in Uganda and the labor rights of Uganda. They actually still relevant, that and much more bijja kuba bijja. Lionel Messi bambi yavudde mu Barcelona yakabya amaziga gabadde mangi nnyo ekyalabye ensi yonna nga bambi the breakdown because Messi has been in a lifetime career kumpi akubidde Barcelona emyaka giri 21 kwegamba kuvawo yali akyali omwana omuto ng'akubira Barcelona era gano gabadde makage era yakabye nnyo nga bidding a farewell eri the Catalan club. Juka Barcelona eno nno timu ya byabufuzi nnyo. Juka Catalunya yali yagala breaking away from main Spain ne batuuka n'okuba nga bagoba language yaba Catalunya ne bagigaana okujoogera babagobako buli kimu ne basigaza ekintu kimu ekyali kisobola okubagatta awamu eyali timu ya Barcelona eno. Ekyo bula timu ya Barcelona yabyafaayo nnyo. Messi we yadde agenda bakabye nnyo because Catalunya badde baagala akavubuka kano kaali kabasambira omupiira ne bakunakuna. Amanya nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. We go for a short commercial break. When we come back we start off the Mighty Drive with the discussion with Mr. Muganga Ambrose Ibabaza. He is a labor rights lawyer. My name is Edgar. Good morning.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
People, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenza abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yina goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde tuyakedde ku macabaga nti nsitudde tu. Naye nga mutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yina gyandiyagadde twogereko tujja kwa tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
It is a Monday, the 9th day of August, the year 2021. A very good morning to you all that is watching us. On our page, The Alternative Uganda, we are live on Facebook. Mkwano, go look for us, follow the page, and then like us. Don't forget to press the notification button. You will be reminded every when we go live by a notification. I heard Edgar Mathew Karuhanga telling us how the Ministry of Education has only allowed the medical students to go back, but with a percentage of 33%. I am wondering how will they determine the students that will go back and those that will not qualify to go back. And anyway, those that will not qualify, which preparations are there? What plans are there for them? Those are questions that are not answered. I don't know whether Edgar Mathew Karuhanga has some answers. That is not a fair move for the student fraternity. If it is all about opening schools, let them open.
No, but the president has always been open and clear to these statements that the medical schools are more, I think, more needed.
Okay, if they are more important, let them allow all the students doing medicine to go back.
But then COVID is also here with us.
Then they should do online classes, but covering all the students.
How many students can afford online?
I am wondering how you do medicine online. Those are going to be half-baked doctors. I don't want to predict. I don't want to be a prophet of doom. But since it is a Monday, I am going to give you a Monday reminder in terms of a Monday quote, so that it helps you to move your day. You see, when it is a Monday, you need to have the positive vibe in you. If you have a low mood, it will affect your whole week. So I'm going to give you Monday reminders such that it can make you go through a month, even a year. You can even save them on your screen such that everyone you have a low mood, you look at them and remember, oh, I have these things on me. You see, we say when you have a low mood, don't expect anyone to clap for you like, okay, you can be fine, to cheer you up. No. You have to cheer yourself up. Nowadays, people have problems. People are battling. No, they're also fighting. You say, Edgar, you can come with your low mood. And I am also in a low mood. But I have actually decided to be happy.
Yeah,
and now
that is what I tell people.
Now I find you with your mood. You all moody. You're not talking and you expect me to come and say, you, Edgar, what is bothering you? I am also bothered and no one has told me to cheer up. So you have to cheer yourself up. Yes, I'm cheering myself up. You also have to cheer up. So I'm going to give you Monday reminders. Number one, it is okay to have a bad day. Don't kill yourself because you have a bad day. It is okay. There are always going to be those bad days and good days in a week. When it is a bad day, work for the next day to be a good one. Number two, it is okay to make mistakes. You are a human being. You're not an angel. You always make mistakes. Work forward to correcting them. Number three, setbacks in life is not failure. You always get those setbacks. You cannot have a smooth ride. No. You always make mistakes that will take you 3 steps back. Make sure to always remain on the rightful path. Number four, it is okay to take a break. When things seem not clear, take a break and then reorganize and then start afresh. Nothing is perfect. Don't be a perfectionist. You're not going to achieve it. Always make mistakes and be consistent. You are stronger than you think. Work on your mind. It is very important. You see, when you're a human being, you need to work on your mind, work on your soul and your body. You are going to ask me how. To work on your soul, look for a positive vibe. Like me, when I am low, I play my gospel music. I am working on my soul. On your mind, be positive. Never have negative thoughts in your mind. On your body, exercise and always look for the best attire in your wardrobe and walk out with your head high, looking smart. One of my last, asking for help is not weakness, it is strength. Strong people ask for help. Weak people don't. So don't always shy away from asking for help. It's a sign of strength. My last reminder of the week is small steps are also success. Small steps are also success or progress. Don't shy away from celebrating your small wins. Those are the small steps you're taking to get that bigger win. Celebrate them. take those small steps. If you want to buy a car, start by buying a motorcycle. Go slow by slow. Those small steps will make you reach to wherever you want to go. So those were my Monday reminders. I hope you work on them. They guide you through the week. I know they're positive. Most importantly, work on your mind, work on your soul and your body. It will help you go through the week. If you have a low mood, my dear, cheer up yourself. No one is going to cheer you up. Not in all situations. Not in all situations. You'll have people clapping for you like, yeah, you can make it. No. Some days you'll have to cheer yourself up. Wake up when no one is expecting you to do it and take that positive move and then go through the day. Abantu balina ebizibu teweebalira nnyo ku bantu balala, you get disappointed. So mukwano nze nkubiriza, always find the positivity in a day. Gyoba okiriŋŋankako bad negatives, bad vibes ziveeko, zijja kuyamba nnyo ate okubeera ng'oliko okola omulimu gwo, obeera wakaawo, whatever you be, bijja kubanga ate bikuyamba nnyo. Very good morning, Farida. I am with Edgar, Mathew, taking you through up to 9 a.m. I have a counsel in the studios, Counsel Muganga Ambrose. We are going to be talking employment, labor laws, labor unions. So mukwano gwe bacha employee. This is your day, this is your show. Jango yige amateeka gagamba ki? Gagamba tulina okuwa probation, olina okubeera probation for how long? Or are you exceeding 6 months? So woba exceeding the employer wali kukolera ki? Bamikwano ababeera awo mbwate nze ndi casual laborer. You've been a casual laborer for how long? Okyalikolera mu mateeka oba on taking advantage of you? Jango tuyige ffenna wamu. It is the Mighty Drive. The page is the Alternative Uganda on Facebook. Go like the page. We are live, Mkwano, engage in the discussion. Edgar, Mathew, very good morning.
Good morning, Farida. I hope you are fine.
I am really okay.
That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me delve straight into the discussion. We have Mr. Muganga Ambrose. He's already with us. Let me say Counsel Muganga Ambrose, like one of my colleagues wanted to assert. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome the counsel himself. You're welcome to the Mighty Drive, sir.
Thank you so much, Edgar.
Yeah.
Good morning to viewers. Good morning.
Farida.
It's
okay, yeah.
I'm happy to be here and hope having a fruitful discussion.
Okay.
Yes.
Counsel Uganda omanyi okulogeramu.
Ndumanyi naye sinyo naye.
Naye kati ojja kuwa simplifyingamu because kati abantu bino twetagana na Uganda ali eyo normal Uganda out there. Abenga abiyiga.
Tewali buzibu nja kuba njabigonzaamu.
Yes. Kati twagala kusooka by the way Counsel kujjeko ne labor laws because manyize tugenda okwogerako. Let's talk about the Olympics. What's your take on Uganda winning gold?
Uganda winning gold. It was a very happy moment. I mean, 2 golds in one period, and I think it has never happened. It was the first of its kind, and the lady, Chemtai, she's the first lady to win the gold, and this a friend of mine was telling me that this is where now women emancipation should be, not this side of rights and what this side of hustling for things. So Chemtai opened up.
But do we need even emancipation? That is the question these days. Let me tell you, according to a report, by the way, that came through, many men have been reporting to the police that they've been beaten. This particular year, many men.
I think it was if they report, I think the policeman started laughing at them.
Yes,
that's a problem.
Yeah, and if this is a gender sensitive matter, but why do we laugh at men?
Why would you, Edgar, marry a woman who is stronger than
you? No, it's not about being strong.
Yes, it's intimidation.
No, you see, Farida, sometimes we are lenient. We know that if I slap you, you might faint. So I keep my cool.
And you decide to let her slap you, and she thinks you are the fool. You're
just so if you have let me slap you, don't report. Because
today we're not talking about gender violence.
Okay, back to Olympics.
Yes, back to Olympics. Then we delve into the discussion. When we start gender issues here, we won't finish until this other gender.
I think Chemtai is an inspiration to many young girls who look up to sports, mostly athletics.
Yeah.
And Cheptegei has has also opened an eye that
Isn't he the greatest of all time right now?
Right now,
He's the greatest of all time.
I was betting on Kipotis, but you know,
But now he has broken,
yeah,
because
things
he's
happened.
even the first person to win double in the Olympics, double medals. He won silver and he won gold.
yeah, but
and he would have won gold, by the way, in the 10,000 meter. It's just the tactics we used that were not. Really
So and I was also inspired by Kenyan Kipchoge, the defending. Let me call him a defending champion.
That man!
You see that pace. He was the first, but there was a period of 2 minutes before the second person
And
could reach.
2 minutes in athletics. By the way, 2 minutes and
Yeah.
2 minutes in athletics. Ziba
Ziba
dakika
dakika
nyingi.
nyingi.
Those seconds are really musambo. Like ziba nyingi nyo.
Yeah, so he showed us that yes, next Olympics I'm around, and
he looks strong.
And he looks strong. The man is 38, but the man is like 25.
But Counsel, the problem is we have in our sports is that now there are no systems egamba mbono katunonye another chemutai down. Singando zakati, what we should be thinking about, how do we get another chemutai? You see, just chibenga chalumu ngai walaba chemutai waza kolumu. We had in 96 Frank yali kamoga came in 96. Now when you came isinde na wangula bayaya abazungu ne bagamba kwetu ngati twakola preliminaries. Je twaita, where were you? So twinamu that thing of one time thing. Yeah, how do we prepare? And that's what I'm saying. How do we better, Counsel, you as a lawyer, how do we prepare these systems to enhance, to help us build talent from down?
Building talent from down is looking for talent.
Yes.
And what I'll borrow from what FIFA does. You know, they have the drum.
They have the drum tournament. That is
so they go regional,
yeah.
and looking for talent. But my disappointment is that we don't see that talent on national team.
Yes.
So
what
happens in that process? People, I don't know what happens, but you see, they start picking from KCCA, from Vipers, from URA, but those people, they go to them with a drum, and those guys are really talent. So to find out quarantine, they should now start looking for talent. Let them organize regional athletics. Let me say, we now Western region, we go to Kacheka Stadium. We are running. We're looking for the Chemutais. We're looking for the Kiprotishis. We're looking for the next Cheptegei. So that by the time we come to preliminaries at Nambole, everyone is set. So they have like 20 Chemutais. So instead of sending one Chemutai in the Olympics, they send like 15. So that but for next experience in Gabuchari, by the time they come to be the seniors, they already know the process. Yeah, that's what I could do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Counsel. Today we're not talking Olympics, by the way, we're talking labor laws and labor rights. Let's start off the discussion from there. But before we go there, Counsel, first give us a background about yourself, you as an individual. Who is this gentleman that is talking to Ugandans today morning?
This gentleman is called Muganga Ambrose Ibabaza. Ibabaza is my dad's name, but he officially gave it to me. Mark the word officially. And I'm a last born out of 7. I'm a UPE graduate, UPE candidate from a school very deep in the village in Chiruhura, for my P7. O level, I went to, people may call it a notorious school, but I don't see it. It's called Nganwa High School. It's in Bushenyi, but now Shema district. Katubena Veyo, I had to change the region. So Nezja ku Bishop Senior School. So I came to Bishop Senior School. It's in Mukono. Actually, it's from Bishops you go to the diocese and then go to UCU. Then from Bishops I joined in Nkumba University for my LLB. The 4 years I graduated in 2018. That same year I joined LDC for the postgraduate, then finished in 2019. 2019, things were not easy. You were a young lawyer, Furumi, or Fude, LDC, or Yao, Pamba, Nachivuga, and Chuga Sichangu. Funamwever was no gamble why, but I had to fight on. Things were not easy. I became a legal assistant at a firm called Richard Semam and Common Advocates. I spent there very little time. Actually, I left that period during when the November shootings. I had to leave because the firm was in a very Wilson Road, but the side of Watseka.
It was so strategic.
So strategic for tear gas and bullets.
Violence, yes. Yes.
So I named Vayo, and then by that time, Nemberong I don't have. So in 2020, I saw an opportunity in Tanzania.
Yeah.
It's called it's a fellowship called the East African Emerging Public Advocacy Program.
I've heard of it, and I have a couple of people that I've met who have been through it.
Yes, it's by Center for Strategic Litigation.
Yes, sometimes they go even to Zanzibar.
It's in Zanzibar. It's in Zanzibar.
Wow, reaching there is great. That fellowship is non-simple.
Yeah, so I actually met a couple of friends. Counsel Anthony,
yes,
I was there with him. Kay, Achak, I was with him. Also, I went to the Mathew village in it also. Counsel Crispus, we were with him there. We met different people from Tanzania, others from Kenya. So, Kati, we have a fellowship for 1 month to call a sort of a practical, sort of an intern. Never to projects. So, my project is on labor and employment. So, they place us in organizations. So, Kati, in the organization, digital platform for labor action. It's an organization that provides free legal aid services to vulnerable and indigent workers, specifically vulnerable and indigent workers. No, but our cause mostly the casual laborers actually. Factory too much answers to make a kangaro. They terminated me without any notice. That's what we are dealing in. So.
Yes, there is not even a formal letter go over something like that. But Counsel, before you delve into that discussion, just Counsel, why did you decide to do law in all courses? Why didn't you go for education, journalism, like myself, for anything? Why law?
Actually, in my senior one, we had form at Inganwa, we had feeling and what do you want to do in life? Weirdly, I put the agriculturist. So, the second I wanted to be an agriculturist. So, I am
flashback whether you ever filled those forms. I don't think I did.
So,
senior 1.
So, kati when I took senior 3, senior 2, senior 3, nenda wanti sciences are not my things. Ngandaba mfuna 78 in history and CRE. We took chemistry mfuna 51, 30 something. Ingamba yemfati.
Atava kumulungi.
Kayemfati nikavayo. So I came with that choice in senior 5. Because of my combination. I had history, divinity, and geography. That was my combination. Plus computer. Computer, and I got 15 points.
Wow.
So out of the 20, because if you don't under 20, so job forms came in. But my brother was like, no.
No kukula job.
No kukula job. Nangamba sente zizi no. Nafuinda yampa sente navuga paka ku bus. I was staying at my sister's in Mukono. When I took our sister wange na kubesimu. Atuse sente azirina enkera tusomero. I had to buy jobs. So I filled the jobs, and surprisingly, law was the only course that I had filled.
No, why to tell them the other ones?
No,
the other two?
No. So when I took a gun, Nambuza career guidance teacher, Nambuza Twega for a course in Dala. Ngamba nedda. Ori sure, ngamba yes in sure. So nangamba no, fill any other course you would. Oh, nangamba again I'm taking ngamba sisobora. Nangandaba I cannot go to technical, so I couldn't qualify for government. So the only option was to join a private. Previously, my career like the good done
Yes.
when I didn't know. So I had to do UCU and Nkumba.
Nkumba, yeah.
So UCU, I went to the parent who was wearing a jean, and you know UCU.
I know.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons I didn't go through about the dress code and what. So I had to go to Nkumba. But what?
Actually, I imagine the lawyer in a jean, they had to just let you be.
Yeah, but actually these days it's me in a suit. If I'm not going to a very big thing, I don't put in a suit. I'm always in a khaki and a shirt and a coat and a blazer. I'm done.
They've always wanted. They say counsel you should be in suits every day.
Yeah, no suits. Actually, I think I spent like I just wear a tie in March.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really wear ties. I have them, but I wear ties. So. Yeah, I'm this person who believes that you cannot measure someone on dress code.
Yes.
I can come dressed in a jean, but what I talk is sense more than the person dressed in a suit.
I'm not defined by how I look,
Exactly.
but what comes
out of me.
Yes,
So why I did law? First of all, okay, this is weird. First of all, why I did law? Smartness. The dress code. I like the dress code, although I don't practice it.
Yes, but you used to look at it and like, this guy speaks smart.
Yeah, it was smart, and then how they talk, how they present. That according to this law article, in the Constitution article, this. So that thing of relating the facts you're having to the law, and then you argue, those things were inspiring for me. So I was like, okay, I need this. So I had, and what is very important is we're going to support your family. Everything is okay. I got support from my brothers, I got support from my sisters. My dad wanted to divert me, but my brothers were like, no, muleke. Chimu tugireyo. Tijamu tugere naye muleke. Haitubi yeah. Bomuchusa na muteka mulanga inzo gamba singa na sigala kulo echanga.
Very right.
Yeah. So because after that we reached the campus and we had these people who were doing the Mami's course. Mami angambi enkolero. Bangambi simanyi neighbor wafe mutabani wa kolalo. Nange kangene competition. That competition there.
But can't I wonder? Okay, simanyi chichiri kumulembe gwafe guno. I think we should be driven by what we want, but oftentimes it's the society that wants to push us into something they feel we should do.
The family has a profession, is a family with a professional family. Accountant. So no one, even if the person does not want to be an accountant or a lawyer, avera sure dintagenda funa omulimu
uba kanso wali abantu nga nabo tebalina sense of direction nti kino kyenjagala nga naye mpe wemufu wemutwala wage abonna bamutuyane bagamba ile kati kututegerere gwoja kukola hospitality
wakati ageze okulaba ati duka bwina amasimu mwebuuza wafiri ogenda kukola cost bado sanga batali babona ku somero bona bakola no gamba wa nzani kanjo ininge
Really matter. Those ones we fill in the job forms.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do matter. Because bayinza no kuba yateka ko lawyer ka kati nga wateka kene wansi mass communication oba education bali okaba ku education. Government okuwa sponsorship. Ngogenda tunda bakola bibuuzo byo. Yes.
So if I know I will not qualify, if I judge myself and
if you judge
I will not qualify for government.
If you judge
I am allowed to tell my parents.
Instead of wasting the people's money, keep the
But Counsel, ngatumalize the topic because in the next hour we're going to be talking about the labor rights laws. But before we finish up upon with you, let's first talk about what inspired you as you're going through school. When I say inspiration, I'm talking about challenges that you went through that pushed you to say, I have to complete. Because as according to UNEB, I think UNEB research in the Ministry of Education, abana abatandika temamala ako. Inadala ku universities zino nti abayingira emitwalo ng'ebiri abagraduating ababana nga kasanvu. Kati n'ogamba ogumwe satuguliwa, and it's the same thing with the high schools and primary schools. What motivated you to work until the end?
From primary?
Like let's say your education.
My education.
Point out go to
Counsel Muganga ku research yogambye nti abana law school in our year we joined 76 2014. But by the 2018, we're talking about Tingira. In the tent, we were only 20 people. Yeah, 20.
They had dropped out, they got retakes.
There were retakes, dropping out, others disappearing. Like you be in the person this semester, next semester, you got at them. I don't know, I'm school at is another faculty. I'm going to
become a high school because high school Karuhanga combination.
No, I changed. You see, I had the history, literature, and divinity. So, I also
had the history, literature, and divinity. I actually don't need divinity.
So, next year, at my school, that bishops, it was a boarding and day. So, day school, we had our own stream. Then boarding school had our own stream. So it's a song, but some about boarding it, you know, or work away. So then not to go get into, you're not to take care. Anything about in fact, in Bonerachi. Can't get them course and then when subject which is
just one up so many work
exactly. So about what inspired me is my dad. My dad is a teacher. He was retired primary school head teacher. I remember we were home and he told us that even if it means okutunde entebe eziri mu nyumba musome, I'll do it. Yes. So I take a teenager in Avanti fenna awaka the 7 children fenna twasomesha into twagala. Like yali forcing. What do you want to study? Nagamba okay. Nagamba don't worry, the sentence is this, but we will finish. So no again ngomanyinti, even though there is no money, but there is that backup government, you will that can always be a way. Yeah, that kind of thing of you will finish. Kakusigara uguni mutwenga you will finish. So that inspired me a lot, and also money the first children determine the others, yes.
The others' future, true.
So all my challenges, they have all gone to the university. Whenever some courses they are going, zagendo swaza chika family. No, to kugwa. And what I can say is that university was a very bumpy ride. It was a very tough. I think it's very apart from LDC. LDC was the toughest. I think it was the toughest place I've ever been in my life. But university was, 4 years, paying 1 point something per semester, and we are saving.
Why are you saying paying a lot of all universities pay 1 point something?
No,
no matter whether you're doing Bachelor of Arts in Arts.
Arts in Arts. No,
stop overrating things. So get discouraging omuzadde ayagala osomesa omwana wo.
Omuzadde ayagala osomesa omwana we amateeka. Somesa omwana amateeka. So what I was saying is, let me leave the but. What I was saying is that there was no money. That's the first thing. And 1.5 then rent, then hostel fee, then bus, those at the coursework, at the photocopying, typing, printing is and the thing was so much, so I was like, okay, let me hustle it through and make my parents proud, and I did it.
You see, when you are the last born and your other have already graduated, they are working, we actually expect that they will help Mzee in soliciting fees.
Yes, they could help Mzee, but they also had their own other needs. They had families, so others had even gone back to school, so they had to...
And the story in Jukiza, or Naga Mami, I take a percentage. Obulimwezi oleta zino sente. We are going for a short break. When we come back, we are coming back with our topical discussion. Tova, wait is still the mighty drive.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. My name is Edgar. We are still on the Mighty Drive and the page is the Alternative Uganda. In studios, you have a labor rights lawyer. He is called Mr. Muganga Ambrose. He's going to be talking to us about labor laws. Let's start off the discussion of the day today. Mr. Ambrose, first of all, what are labor rights? Labor rights erimu na Uganda akulaba lero
erimu na Uganda
gatachimanyi yes
erimu na Uganda tachimanyi labor rights what are rights mu Uganda batita bati okay labor rights are those rights
yes katugambe rights kubanga
yeah and rights and of course you have had other responsibilities that the rights that you have as a worker or as a laborer, because the word labor is more of working employment. So yes. Those are the rights you have as an employee or as an employer. So that yes. Most of the times omukozi I need dembe, then omukozesa I need duties. They no fulfilling. Enjoys his or her rights. Yes.
Kati gwenga labor rights lawyer mirimu kijo okola gwenga omuntu.
Mirimu gye nkola okuyamba abakozi okulaba nti bafuna eddembe lyabwe. They enjoy their rights. Nti omukozi azze n'angamba bangobye tebampade ekisooka abakozi balina eddembe lyabwe. Constitution mukozi balina eddembe ona amateeka Employment Act, there is Labor Unions Act, there is Occupational Safety and Health Act, there is also Workers' Compensations Act. Ogonna amateeka wegali okuya abakozi kulaba nti balina eddembe lyabwe. So ze ng'omuntu nina okulaba nti amateeka gonna gali enforced. The employers adhere to those.
Amateeka tugembe omukozi olina omusasula ssente ze mu budde ozisasudde. Kati gwenga gwayingirawo okumakinga sure nti kino kiri fulfilled.
Kasita nfuna gundi omuntu najja ewange nangamba kino kyabaddewo. Sooka ntunula mu mateeka endaba ddembe ki bye bamenye. So nenkubira omukozi esa ne mugamba owaayo kino maybe this will talk about that later. While we are labor officers, it can still labor your right has been violated.
Yes.
Also, see a lawyer.
Yes.
So, labor officer.
Mu Uganda muno mwebali abo.
District labor officer.
Abakola ki?
labor officer yakolanga abaganya kubanga bo teringa kooti tugenda kuyimirawo okay move bazita kwasa judicial function nti ye abeeraawo katuko complain nze employer kati beside union yeba officer kubanga bakize baloya naye nga gwe lawyer gwe kyoyogera kubanga tugenzeeyo so kati Farida tula wana nangamba we are labor officer kino kitabaddewo nze mukozesa nange nengamba nenjogera ke ebyange
yes it's okay
kati naawe katuwereba officer wawa ensalawo
yes emaliriza emalegobe yes kansa
kati tugenda kola
na bwetu nawe
eningako
mutesa
olibanga sibya kusasula sente nangamba ngena kusa sente kasobo katugeze te mubanja milioni nga 5 njagamba okay I know you omanya milioni 5 naye njasoka nkuweeko 3 in this period and after this period nkuweeke 10 so that mode that's what you need to go to the labor office with district ino kwange na labor officer naye kati bali active naye batono nti katoyinza osanga kankuwa example kati Kampala is well equipped nti balina KCCA balina Wakiso balina naye katoyinza osanga district katugeze nti ziri ze bakatondawo nga tezirina labor officer n'ekirala nosanga kati nga abasinga nti bakyalina bakwetekako districts nyingi naye services ezimu zikyali mu greater kati osanga kati osanga labor officer Mbarara akola Mbarara Kihura Isinjiro so but ate n'ekirala ekizibu ekiriwo nti qualifications okay the law provides for them there will be labor officers who will be the first instance people to handle the matters of labor and employment arising between the contract employer and employee. Maybe there are no qualifications. Kati osanga labor officer handling ebintu by'amateeka naye ate abasinga babatwalanga ba social welfare officers. So oyakola social worker administration ali mu kuhandlinga matters z'amateeka. Tewala baloyaza abamu batuuka ne babajerega ne bavaayo nga bogera ebintu tebimanyi kati osanga
oyagala gamba nti to qualify to be a labor officer inakola law
kuba yes kwangu handlinga ebintu by'amateeka jingo kwanga oli mulamuzi naye wakola biology or doctor nengo oli judge so that's the still weakness bachali batono qualifications ate banguzi abasinga banguzi nnyo
ani alonda ba labor officers
balina okulondebwa Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
Basing on which qualifications?
Basing on the kwanga you apply. You apply through the apply through the wakati ukuraba they don't most districts don't have them kati social and welfare probation officer or district kati yate nafukani labor officer ate so kati wali gundi wali confusion yao
na ejo confusion teni nawo kam Uganda by the way tuna confusion wetu mpaka gatawo
gatawo naye kati byo gatawo byakuona na biri chimu
atenga ati tutufa ku quality na just struggle over here
kwa kati nze mali ngamba ku kyanguzi nti waliwo nani kwa research on safety and health at work nenjogera muno omuntu yayakola ne factory mu Masindi nangamba labor officers Masindi waliyo Kinyalo nti oluusi abakozi ba Kinyalo we bagendayo Kinyala
bayiteri ne babasasula
ate babasasula sente meka kasooka sukali bali bakozi ba sukali kati olera mu kasooka sukali
mwaka kasooka sukali abamu tasiza miezi ng'esatu batagula sukali
kila 5 so kati olera abamukira 5 eza sukali nawa gwatagenda goba kwa na 10 twagenda mubona ku sente government musasula bubi tanafuna mwezi msala kwenye miezi ingia 3 ya nagamba kaye mfa kine kajja
abe wange tebanywa suka banywa chai atalimu
ata baba wende hizo genda kuwa na yanjiro omukazi na toleka kusuka na no kuchala
yayagala dogendo chala mbako
ngetubala ko sukali kata amufunya
ne kanso kati
tujoze
ngozango oli ajamu kakasa okasukali but that will be another discussion of another day. And Counsel looks to be a witty person. I need to check it. But Counsel, let's talk about labor laws. Zino labor laws zikwatagana ku umweba mwambala tai ne bano bakaruhanga babera masoga camera oba n'omukyala house help waka na ye labor laws no ziba zimuyamba ye ng'omuntu oba zaffe bantu banabano
no labor laws za buli muntu yena akola oboli house worker
ndikati house helper inzo
tebabayita bahereso ba house worker babeta domestic workers
house help
but domestic workers inti kati when songa ta when the part of labor action imu advocating for rights of domestic workers ndika by association yawe domestic workers association of Uganda by meeting ko kadaga ngachali speaker and I think there's a bill coming up, I think it's now a law on domestic workers. So we're gonna mateka labor laws government dara kufe bamambara tai bababera mu office zikarinda nebagenda dara kubuna abakirininga abana bera kuntu kubona abakitsi paka exactly
naye most times bana bakozi tebakola contract actually contract ebera verbal omuntu genda kola bwoti ne bwoti which is also possible nti onajja tuuka eri ewakane nona omutwala eri ewaleba officer ibisabi mugambako ati ona amateeka gamuyambye gatya
anti kati jukira olusi sometimes the contracts zibeera verbal over written over sometimes zibeera expressed over implied
kati contract ya verbal nga tubaddewo babiri really gwonengana nagamba ni
ate kati zigenda kuyita baneba badebanda nga nkula ewuwo no you know wekuta tukoze woze naye kati nkolede mbadde wange for 3 years ndina baneba bakulaba bakumanyi nti gwe nagwani gwe domestic wake wali wange ng'omukozi
bono gamba domestic wako genda kutubuza
okay house help house galo oba house boy
house galo chala bera house
help okay house help
house girl sounds bad.
Sounds rude.
Sounds rude, yeah.
So kati want to babale ba office tebatira kwagala bajulizi. This is one on one. So like maybe today when to get naye kati sometimes things call for despite nogama why and they ba demand banga kwati naye kati nawe wotukira kwe oyinza kwa mwicho obuntu oyinza kweganira house help wo report
kotidda abana Uganda obamanyi ntima jakalo
yali yamali yakola emyaka 5 kati bamusasula
obanga kati
5 years nga bakolere
nga bamusasula
kulya mmere na kumusuza
yali typically slave
that is because waliwo abantu tebakusasula naye ate that's asunga oyinza sanga oyihera self nenga bakusomesa wale byokuteesa nogamba nze mutu okumpa bo omusaala munsomese njige kinene njige skill kadagera kuveewo nga already alina skill gyamanyi ya kati because tusinziira engege muteesamu wadde muteeseza oro kujika kati ebintu byaba heyo self byamu abastada tabifaako yiye yeti tumugamba osente ziwere za house help nagamba ko namusasula nazo omukazi nasasula so kati chiba ku between a wife and a woman at home and the house help ukulaba nti having that mutual agreement ukulaba teri kunyigiriza tewala yanyigiriza munne ate kati neno association gye bakoze eriko abaddu workers nti wofune ekizibu osobola ogenda kati that's what is called the labor union now kati bonga ba domestic workers bekozemu omulimu ne bafuminga ka union akawe nti basobola okwadvocating rights zaabwe nga bonna nga ba domestic workers ba house helps.
Counsel, before we delve into the labor unions because nazo twagala kuzogerako Counsel kenkomyewo the minimum wage bill that was tabled in parliament. President Najigoba nagambe negenda kubanga attracting our investors.
The economy.
Na the fact is was it the right decision to be made? Because in those Uganda abakozi bali betaaga omuntu omanye bunange ntandikirako wano, because of that we've seen many employees being exploited, many workers, because there is no minimum wage bill. Nosangolinga akolera nusu 10 olunaku, olanga akolera 12 olunaku, from morning to evening omuntu nakolera 15. Really? It was the best decision to be made over
okujigana. No, it was
President Yagano kwa farming.
President Ogano kwa farming. That was the biggest mistake. Yes. Yeah, because what I think I've realized about our president is that he likes his investors more than the Ugandans. He protects the investors more than his people. Ndikati munaiga kati kubanga chimmanyito abana abasinga bali mu factory abo babasasula most of them by 5,000 per day. At 5 and 7. Others start at 4. Others start at 5.
It's like a $1.
That Juke are on night shifts. So 5,000 per day. But they give them after 2 weeks, after 1 week. So Katino sang about 25,000 per day. Now while factories attend 6,000, about 8,000, others 7,000. So Katsinga by a uniform price. It is either walk around factory, casual labor factory. It is 10,000 per day. That's the law. That we here. That is a fine. That is better. It motivates people. Abana abakora 5,000 per day nagamba yekati wezuba sawa bile zecho n'integera wali wansi ngati wali ninjo kolenya kora kasimu ko mwanda kasawo ko mukazi uzosanga mtwara ago asatu babiri
kibaite ekibimba
tibati urokuba ruwedde. So that's where the problem, that's the mistake they did. And thinking about investors more than Ugandans, that
has been a priority of our leadership.
That is because there's a factory I went to Katili Wakiso, and there's another factory ya China eri Mukono Mbalala. Ya China Mbalala umane always someone who was working there anti bayina gaye wa kungufu. Bokole enso bibitiviti. Kungufu. You are film. Hey. Adeka tunoropa wana. Ademechira China abantu mwezo factory nti abanyigiriza abantu abakozi abo si investors abachina babani abanyigiriza abantu beba na Uganda abakolanga ba manager kubanga baba bamanyi ebizibu by'abantu atenga tebabiwereza eri waggulu ate benyini beba punishing oyogera ki bile exilika oyagala government ekole kino bwetinde. So nosanga abantu abana Uganda benyini bebonya bana Uganda ati bebonya okusinga bali abawagule. So ndindoza ku minimum wage president Uganda kudasetinga konti. It was a very big mistake, and many people are going to shun away doing those employment. And I think at Jakurekant abantu bona kati they are thinking about white collar jobs. They were always kati we invite ku university muchokufuna 5k per day. Ka mtambire ku street pa hapo mugutanika ku mtwara meka nga 5 bili mwezi, which is not easy.
Counsel olwo ekibuuzo kye bansindikidde ne bagamba tubuze counsel differentiate between workers and contractors. Nti ne bano contractors bafallinga under the category of the abetaga labor rights, so differentiate between workers and contractors. Atotubulye waba contractors byadda nabo babeera mu
kwanga kati duka ora abantu babiri. There is an independent contractor. Simanyi bategeza independent contractor. Ntikati gani ya kuzimba line kubo. Ifunya independent contractor ni mchina. That is an independent contractor. So the independent contractor is going to hire abantu abagendo muyambako. So those are workers now. They work for the independent contractor. So kat independent contractor yes simo cause si worker wa government. Na reports to UNRA. And UNRA reports to the cabinet also.
Is he also protected by the labor laws?
The independent contractor is protected by the Contract Act. Yeah. What he does is the contractual. So contract erinti twagale kubo okuva Kansanga okutuuka wa mu town. So that is the contract. Naye kati mu contract omwe mubaamu some clauses nga relating to labor. Nti bw'oba ogenda kukozesa abantu 60% must be Ugandans. Olina okugula emimisi emmere in Uganda, so that is now the clause on. So a clause on employment in the contracts in the contract signing to favor his workers.
Okay, Counsel, let's talk about the labor retention. But before, I would really want to tell you, you can call us and engage in the discussion. The studio number is 0789 017 145. 0789 017 145. So to kubirako no yogerako ne Counsel Ambrose. Let's talk about the labor retention in Uganda, most especially in private sector. There is a lot of uncertainty. You might be working today, but you do not know tomorrow. That you might come when you already are. Job security is zero. Are there laws that protect these people? If there is, why are they inactive?
I think the labor security is the biggest problem now we have in Uganda. And I have a friend, but I'm going via WhatsApp. Zari sawa nyezi 10 p.m. Hey, we are sorry to inform you that you have terminated your contract. Counsel, listen to that. Full stop. Omuntu bakugobedde ku WhatsApp. Ateka tujuke this president wa fina yatero kugobera ku mikutu ejo. Inagamba tuka kudwaya banakoze bagambe bagobye tebadda. So labor retention is something which is very big problem in Uganda. Eka tisinzira ku contract. Because what I've seen that most people don't enter into contracts. I advise people, please, before you work, right somewhere. Yeah.
Kanonyeze banga dene kati go abamu ba employers bamanya amateeka kati amanyi bwana kwa contract yesibirayo yengaye kati jo kati gwe osaba contract alaganga omulimo gwagala togwagala ngamba waya kalimo kanonyeza okay contract
ne kati kalimo kaagala okakoze bakugobye okakoze enche okoze enche bagambe todda so ngabakubide no obusente bwo. So what is that? Ngamba people should sign contracts.
Before they say they should read that.
They should read and understand. Apart, okay, let's go behind outside the labor. People who get loans in the banks, please read those terms and conditions. That's
Counsel, we have a problem in our society.
People read those terms and conditions.
There is a problem. Tebagala kusoma like omuntu okutula wansi asome. It is one of the biggest challenges we have here. Turaja kumala signing chintu just
signing it.
You open a page na kwa terms. Do you agree? You just
agree.
Zenalabanga abana bali mu nguba try tuchakola mu quick taxi. Ngabakuwa echi page zinga page nga 10 kati mwana akama
tumanyi kirimu
amanyi motoka bakugambye ogenda gitambuza otya wefuna obuzibu ogenda kola ni bamaliza nga bamanipulating nga contract baba exploiting emotoka bazibajjeko contract nga abana badde bazimaze nako ne bagamba tewasoma kino.
Yeah, so kati back to labor retention, I think signing a contract is one of the ways to create
keep yourself safe as well.
Yeah, because job insecurity also affects your mental health. Babera ngo liko pressure kati kubudde bono COVID ogamba bangenda sigala bangenda kati waranga bagambe we have a meeting ngamba chetijja lero bagamba nibanga we are doing reshuffles ngamba yeah, so kati people when they sign contracts kwa contract ebegamba you terminated because you have 2 years, you may terminated after 2 years with the notice of 6 months, 3 months, 2 months. Kati wabo manyinti bakwa the notice of termination of 2 months. In that 2 months ngatana bakugenda ngomazo ko you planning everything omanyi bantu ngenda funa mulimu wano bana dotako ku applying if what bagenda ku applying no gamba why kanzire start farming. So naye kati byo kugoberawo todda ogenze after in the evening bagabe obanyi enja tokombawo. So because what signing the contract eberaga what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to be terminated, after how the notice of termination, and those benefits you have to get, because there are those terminal benefits. They get the days which are remaining, they multiply your salary and then they pay you money. So so kati awo contract byonna byeraga nti olwebifuna kati abamu tebamanyi terminal benefits nti bakugobye nti katugeze nti contract ya emyaka 2 bakugoba mu mwaka ogusooka baba balina okukwata ezo sente ezo zobadde ofuna nebabaza ennaku ezisigaddeyo nebakuwa sente zo n'ogenda. Naye ate abamu bakikola ababa bakikola naye like more than 10% abakikola. Ate nebulaba ne gavumenti yenyini tekikola
abakozi beba employing on probation nagamba kati gwe oli ku probation netujjalaba bwoba ofitting omulimo guno tujjako nokola probation period neggwako nosigala ku same salary ku same benefits nga tebakulinyisiza ate tebakugambye oba okyali ku probation oba ofuuse waka nobeera awo nokola even for 2 years nengo kyafuna omusala ku probation.
Probation must not go beyond 6 months.
Ngokola probation one mu Uganda no
emyezi omukaaga bwe giggwako employer alina okubuulira oba akusigaza oba ogenda. Nawe kasola emyaka myezi mukaaga giweddeko naye kati abasinga batya okubuuza.
There is a lot of unemployment there.
Otya okubuuza.
Unemployment in Uganda here scare you. Kati otandika ogamba employer nkyali mukozi wobangende ogendewa gyogenda ofuna omulimu omulala maaga sigala ku.
No obuuza tubagamba ati ngeno obuuza bulungi emyezi yange mukaaga gyaweddeko tona kungamba what next. Ye mwenyini agenda okuwira ogenda sigala kati woba osigadde then you now enter into a real agreement. Naye kati bawata qualifying abasinga bakugamba kusindikira email na ogamba we are sorry to inform you that you did not meet the standards of the company and you have to let you go. As simple as that. Yes.
Abazungu be bategeera ekintu kye bayita contract nze omusambi Lionel Messi bamuwa contract basooka nagiwandika ku serviette ezo papers obwo mu restaurant basayininga contract yasooka okumubayininga ku myaka 4 so kikulaga nti no contract bagitegeera kikyetegeeza naye Abafirika tukyali wala. Let's cross over to the Labour Unions Council. Labour Unions zino zeki ate twagala tusooke tumanye ne history ya Labour Unions because nali nsoma history wedda Labour Unions zaffe zaali active in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Ngaba employee bayina say ya manyi. Right now Labour Unions tezikyawulikika.
Labour Unions tezikyawulikika. I think they have management issues.
So katuddeyo ku Uganda atazimanyi nazimanya because kati zisanga zino
Labour Unions nti the association z'abakozi.
Watugambe
ebibiina bigatta abakozi naye nga si buli mukozi nti bano abakozi bali bwe bati kategoriza abasomesa begasse bayina UNATU Uganda Teachers Union nti kati Labour Union y'abasomesa aba bali so vocal nti waliwo abalala nti president banamawulire wa sports Uganda
Sports Journalists Uganda Sports Journalists Association
bano balina gunde yaabwe nti bwe tubaawo kinene union si buli muntu kunadresa ino kwogera union yevaayo nedoboozi so kati zeze Labour Union nti abantu bonna abakola mu gundi yemu field yemu begatta ne bakola mu association yaabwe eyina okubalwanirira association yebalwanirira si gwe individual nti kati oli musomesa ogenze kwekalakasa gwe ng'omuntu no UNATU yene egamba basomesa this term
I am sure most laborers don't know about these labor unions. And are responsible okumanyisa abantu bano.
Abakozi okumanyisa abakozi nti tulina union.
Nti mulina yes.
No, anti civil good. Okay, they have right to association. Bobe nyine right of association in constitution article 29. Do ina right to associate. Nti wakati kuliko ne kati baina eteke yawe nga ku Trade Unions Act baina convention zibe za convention 87 and 98 za International Labour Organization ndizo nazi ku right to organize and collective bargaining so nti aba omukozi we employer omubulira if there's an association is free to join the association abakozi bennyini bokozesa katugeze nti olina factory abakozi bonna bokozesa bali free organize them bebo nyine bekoremu omulimu ng'abakozi bekoremu ekibiina ekyabwe ndi wabanga bagala kubanja si buli omuntu alina okujjawo okubanja chairperson wa general secretary wa association yawandika ebbaluwa okujja okubanja boss kati ate gwe ng'omukozi tolina okukola ki to interfere activities za association bakuwandiikidde twagala kukola association okkiriza baleke besorting kubanga we have to reduce that association balina okukola leadership eyabwe.
I have a call coming in. Hello, very good morning. You are watching the Mighty Drive.
Yes, good morning, Farida and Edgar and Counsel.
Yes, good morning.
No man.
Yes, no.
Kachi, I wanted to first of all to thank Counsel for creating time. And I have these questions for him and for all of you.
Questions.
One, Counsel, is it mandatory that every employee should first go under probation, or one can simply apply and the employer finds them fit and they immediately begin working and have a contract than offering that prerequisite of a probation? Two, why do employers shy away from giving people contracts? Is there something hidden here, some hidden agenda or otherwise? We have seen South African labor unions being so active and hard. What is it that is in South Africa and had to be done here? That Ugandan labor unions are more or less backing dogs. They simply have certificates and they just have offices if they have and just they stop there. Finally, as a council that is so much into labor unions and the rest and labor rights, what has his organization, if he has one or his expertise, what have they done to ensure that they equip the labor unions to become strong and be heard? Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. tutandikire ku kisoose mandatory omuntu okuyita ku probation naye waliwo nze we bampanga tebampadde probation
waliwo tisinziira kampani engeri eyagala okukolamu ebintu byayo ebyala mu kampani human resource manual ya kampani nti bakugamba every employer has to go through probation period naye kati waliwo companies endala ziri mu human resource manual zaabwe nti they don't have that probation period nti baba bakwadde contract otandikirawo ku musaala gwe so kati it depends on the company's human resource manual kubaga naye kati waliwo amateeka agogera ku probation the wording of that act is not mandatory. The wording of the provision for kwegamba there will be the probation period which is 6 months. So kati your company it has to have a probational thing, a probational clause in the human resource manual. It must be 6 months. It must not go beyond 6 or above 6 months. So
should be below 6 months.
So your company human resource manual yakugamba you can go before probation or you can start on work. Yes. So why do employers shy away from
giving contracts?
So to take one thing is employers what they like is to keep their employees in ignorance. That's the fact. Njeka stakulaba beteyagala omanye nti you have this right. Kuba bamanyi if you have this right to move obuzibu. Then later so to prevent all that circus takulaga contract kugamba okay you start working omusaba contract gamba we shall sign, don't worry. We shall sign for 2 years. We shall sign. So kati now tukairi mbasi ogamba yenfachi. Enga tata ya guarantee you know what your entitlements. If you know your entitlements, udamuteka ku pressure, udamusaba ebintu bingi. Ate abasinga mutebabimanyi. Actually sometimes don't know about them, about the labor rights. Ya kutanga company factory nagamba njagala abakozi full stop tamanyi abakozi mujje mukole mbawase tamanyi baba bayisa batya olina okukola kingo oguddewo biti ate ne government menyini so reluctant to enforce those laws. So Nosanga it is the employer, government, they are all, it's a mix up. Yeah.
So yabuziza ku kitu kya South Africa. Naye South Africa njagala nyongereko ne Kenya labor unions zaabwe ziri so active. Tutulabe n'abakulembeze abazo okulembera eggwanga lino nga bayisemu ezo labor unions. Okufuna endorsement ya presidency oba okubeera governor, labor union emu ino kwendoosinga oba tugambe abakola guno omulimu ne bajja ne bagafa abasomesa tuli mabega woono. Lwaki tetunafuna ba employees nabo nga ba main stakeholders mu ggwanga lino ate nga they are actually the main stakeholders in this country, they are paying the taxes. Kugamba lwaki tetunabalaba nga bali so vibrant?
There was one of the things, one is, I said before, administrative issues. Then there is facilitation, money, finances. Ate nature, abantu sente ze bafuna. Ate consider that. Others, they form association, they know what to do next. Community, what you form an association,
muterekemu sente tuzigabane mu Christmas.
Kati abasinga bamanyiti labor unions the SACCO.
SACCO zaffe zawulira
tuteka mu sente weewole genda gula pichi. So that's what most of people know about labor unions.
Yeah.
And this year, they are being suppressed by the government. The government does not want, is so strict on right to organize and rules of association.
Mugenda kukola kimwe twekengera nnyo.
So kati baraba abasomesa bo.
Yes.
They are so one year association endala kutoka abasomesa.
Yes. Counsel, ezo ensonga nziwulidde naye njagala nsooke manyina akabuuzo akatono waliwo omwana akatadde mu comment section ng'abuuza what is the difference between the trade unions ne labor unions? It's the same thing, just linnya lya njawulo. Okay.
Trade is just the new name. Labor union is the trade is a new thing, then labor is
it's all the same. Zembane manyi trade byo bikwatagana ku bya business bintu byako.
No, paka tuchikira there is not national organization of trade unions. You're not to got it's an umbrella organization of all trade unions in Uganda. But what on a Govt Confederation of Trade Unions in something like that. Na yekati is nazo zibagata. Then what on enda abajita Federation of Uganda Employers. Eyo ya bakozesa. Uganda Employers. Era kati chairman wawe wa National Water and Sewage Corporation. Chairman wawe. So abakozesa nabo begatta baina organization. Baina ya
ngoje kuba employees ne ba employers. Ba stakeholder chabalala bayino bera mu trade unions.
No, we
don't need the government or I don't know. Abantu nga government.
Government okora trade union ya nga government.
No, ngamba nabo ne begatta mu trade unions enyini ne bazibeeramu. Ne babeera trade union ya employee maybe
abakozi ba government.
Government wane yotekayo omuntu tugembea na awuliriza zino ensonga.
Government mu trade union bayina mu representative of government. I'm not sure about that. Naye tevari chirungi nti ate kati abantu babaroza nto yombega azibabega.
Kati Counsel, trade unions are together. How are we going to grow them again, revive them to be in operation like they used to be?
Reviving them, it needs a collaborative effort of employees, young employers. Then you come to these people who head this umbrella. Because there is chairman not Mr. Wade. That one is very, very bright, but he lacks support. Ultimately, workers MPs also have to be there because they are there. They have to be part in reviving the.
But by the way, you're speaking about the workers MPs. What do these folks do?
They represent you people who work in the parliament.
How do I vote for them?
You see how we vote for the youth? That's how you vote for them. They are there. They have to, the workers vote for them. I don't know which workers, but they vote for them, and they are in parliament. So the gentleman looks the fourth question about if I have an organization or the one I'm in, what have we done? As I mentioned earlier, that the one I'm in is we are giving advice. We are providing good aid services to the indigent, the indigent and vulnerable persons. That's what we do.
Vulnerable person?
So,
by the way,
vulnerable person is from law is that person who cannot afford the services of a private lawyer. Yeah. And so what we also do in that organization is on child labor, for end of child labor and then human trafficking. So, but me as a person, I don't have an organization yet. But if I do, I will call him. What was his name? Normally I will call him and you come and join. But mine will mine is on ideation stage. I'm an idea. It's on mine will be on mental health at workplaces. Yeah, focusing on mental health at work. People go through at work.
By the way, and that one I also joined. That is a very, I don't know, between a society, an African mindset, a gamba ambuno, a baby what do baby abazungu, mental health in Uganda, a baby abazungu, like because it's something as therapy. Counsel, is this the time to Gambia? Okay, how relevant is mental health? How is it so helpful? Why did you decide? Let me have this niche, me as a lawyer.
Because you see, mental health does not affect only you as an individual. It will affect your family. It will affect the community you live in, and it also has an impact on the economy. The government spends a lot in catering. I don't know if this government does in catering for people with mental health. Because I was reading through my reading to get up that need, I found that in the US and the UK, this most like 30% of the economy goes to mental health, catering for people with mental health. So if that mental health is good before it escalates, that 30% would have done something else. Yeah.
But Counsel, because the day I'm interjecting, mental health. Eri omuntu wali wansi ali mu kutula wakati sawa zino omwana wa bulijjo mental health oba otegeeza ki
mental health ye obulamu bw'obwongo obwo katugeze nti oli ku mulimu okola like obwongo obwo buli mu stage nti eri right nti toyina kikusumbwa nti maybe oli kukola wali tubaita there is absenteeism and then there is presentism.
Oh.
Yes.
So
kati
absenteeism kimanyi okubanga tobeera ku mulimu.
Presentism kubeera ku mulimu nenga toliko.
Kugamba obaawo n'omungu oli yasigadde mu kitanda nga yewe.
Aha, nti oli ku mulimu okola naye kati there is nothing productive what you're doing. Oli computer naye eri off. Naye kati oli computer you're at work but your computer is off. But your mind is somewhere, maybe if I open this computer, teaching and sangako, so you're at work, but you're not at work, mentally you're not at work, but physically you're there seated, but what about worry?
Nenga ekintu ekibiri mu mutwe gwe bingi
biba so kati bwebanyoga ku mental health manjogera obwongo buli right nti oli ku mulimu nenga oli ku mulimu nti tena nti ogenze waka neka tulowooza ku mulimu wayanga. I was watching some video about mental health at workplace via YouTube, and the presenter was asking people, how many of you have breakfast at the toilet? Nti oyina breakfast naye oli kutu nenga olundwa chai kikyolowooza mu mutwe gwo mpusesa wameka ku mulimu nti omulimu was entered in your head newobeere waka
olowooza ku mulimu
abaana tobafaako oli ku mulimu. So that's what I mean when I say mental health.
Sure. Yeah. And for me, sometimes I tell people weekend, you better weekend.
Yeah. Tika tuine bintu bintu byokora. I think one of the causes of that, the most interesting cause I got there. Okay, there is also job security. Job security. There is work overload. There is shift work. But the most interesting one is annoying customers. Annoying customers was one of the causes of mental health at workplaces. Annoying customers. Nti oyo kwenye customers ze atanaso okuyomba nga yakayingira afulumya ayomba. Kati even though the situation is that your boss has come the situation.
The boss mukanga. They are annoying bosses.
Mukyali mukiro mumulinde. Mukyali mukiro kati gwasigala kulese kubunke. Kati gwekina gwako kola nti batugoba.
So kati ntindire customer bwaba agenze tukusigala mu 20 when nyantu you've not solved the problem. So kati oba weeraliikirira what will the next how will I handle the next customer. Wanga simu yombi. Utakuti ogambe utakuba webuza if I fail to handle the other one, how will I handle this one? So that it also affects kasaba customer bega ili de bananga bagule ebintu mwe.
Customer boy at least ogenda mulabako for minutes of 2 or something. I don't know for a time. But anti na yinzo okubera ojamula for a specific time. But they are annoying bosses. Nga boss wakubeera ngatabaako every day. Omuno tukanga oli so stressed nenga tulina chakola. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few minutes by the way to the end of the show. Dachikazi zina tugwako council. Nenga tezina tugwako constitutionally. Constitution yeyogera kikulu labor unions zino ne trade unions. Chiche is empowering okubanga ekola emirimu jazo oba that is one of the reasons as to why these trade unions are not even working.
Actually, our constitution is it was ranked one of the best constitutions in the world.
It was not?
It was ranked. One of the best constitutions.
By 1995?
Yeah, before it got tampered into bringing those small things.
Doctored for individual.
Yes, but it was one of the best.
My God.
But it actually brings in clearly the labor unions. Article 29, the right for association. It brings in every person has a right to form or join trade union, and it is voluntary. You don't have to force someone to join the trade union. Yeah. So and also Article 40 it has economic rights. So that's why it falls. It also brings in an aspect of labor unions, and also it also empowers. I think Article 39, which empowers Parliament to enact laws in favor of labor and employment, which now it brought in the Trade Unions Act, which also brings in the aspect of labor unions. Yes. So the constitution is okay. If you want to blame anything, leave the constitution aside.
Because you're blaming. That constitution.
Exactly.
Are there any restrictions on labor unions? Labor unions are forming. Are there any restrictions on them?
Yes. There are restrictions. I think I saw the restriction in Convention, Article 5 of Convention either 89 or 98 on collective bargaining and what. Actually, I have to also talk about collective bargaining. Yeah. People in the armed forces are not supposed to
form trade unions.
Yes. UPD, that is a circle. You circle, not so. When I'm at the I got a forming. I don't know the rationale, but people in armed forces are supposed to form a trade union, labor union. Another restriction is the labor union. They are restricted into first of all they must focus. their focus is...
They should have a focus.
They should have a focus, but only on employment and what. So to me, I'm quite okay to say we are. You tell you. So your
objectives should be focused on employment.
On your rights as employees. Why you have your objective is fight for your rights. Why have you formed this labor union? Yes.
Council, how do we regrow our how do we grow our trade unions to ziberenga nazo zina amanyi twabenga zikola influence ngayo tuna mu Kenya ngayo zikola influence mu South Africa ngayo zikola influence zikome wane Uganda nazo stand ko
saga gamba nti abantu are incompetent but there is
sakala kugamba nti njale nnuma yeah Council
what it is mostly in all government, everybody in the government, also in government institutions, MDS, ministries, development and agencies. They need a complete overhaul. That organization, trade unions, what? Jamu remove all the leadership, bring in the new one, which is what?
Completely shuffle.
Exactly. Which is vibrant. Though, and I will also focus on these umbrella organizations. Not to go to the employers are fine, but you see those people sometimes they dine with the government and then forget why they are formed. So International Labour Day, Bajagenda President, State House, but what they will talk about. Sometimes they talk about the labor unions, but mostly they talk about things which don't concern the labor union. Yes. So we need to have the advocacy and the seriousness in those labor unions so that we revive them. And also the government, they should not think that everyone who organizes himself wants to remove power. Exactly. Some are advocating for other different things.
When you have a hammer, which is uboloza musumali
wamu okona
ubono ye guboloza mbuno kirabika bono batandise okwega tabano mwagala chi muli ku station muli abantu 20 mutesa kugamba you already guilty.
As we come to the end of the show, we've talked labor rights, we've talked labor law, so we know we have these laws in Uganda. Why are they not active?
The laws, implementation.
Yeah, the implementation.
That's the problem. I will give you an example. They have an Occupational Safety and Health Act. For it, focus here that law is basically on safety and health at workplace. Before we know kubanga bibiyonje abantu bakolera we were rated nti semester ziri sipare nti buli kimu kiri bulundu abantu bana in case of emergency bana bafulumira nti waliwo kwanga waliwo ekifo nti bwe batuuka bajjamu engoye zaabwe ne bambaliza company ne bazireka ngo ziri safe baina we balira kwanga wali separate do they have place for resting. So bino kubeera wao naye kati they have to do inspections zikolebwa government Ministry of Gender by the Department of Occupational Safety Health. Naye my department there are only 28 inspectors. 28 inspectors, they have to inspect all the workplaces in Uganda. Yes.
Abantu
28 nekati Kampala muri factories imeka mu Kampala. I take at what workplace. We don't only talk about factories. Offices. Bine bizime bigwira abantu buli lunako. We're talking about schools. We're talking about even that shop by there might be something to be inspected. So kati ratio that International Labour Organization, the ratio of an inspector to worker was it's 1 worker to I think 100 people, 100 workers. One inspector to
100 laborers.
By kati mu Uganda, I made the calculation because if we had 19 million workforce, the ratio of one inspector to the workers is 1,700,000. So we were inspector mu we're not expecting because 1 million omuntu mu because they are 28.
Let me give you a fact. When I saw a message abantu Council mu Uganda tulina ebitabo bya intensive care what, 200 and...
Do you think
280? I don't remember. 200 something. Roughly, for a population of 45 million Ugandans, we have 200 and something intensive care unit beds. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about time we end the discussion today. But before we do that, allow me send some shout outs to the people who have been watching. Mulimu Odur Anthony and Counsel Muganga, well done. Muganga Ambrose Ibabaza and the Alternative Uganda team. Thank you so much. You're always watching. Then to Muhimbi said no man, but they are annoying employees too. Farida, Bikobere, now tagging. I don't know if this was. Then Anita Mzimenta Anayawa Bade Kwalegambe, I'm on it. Good morning. No, ye Oine Kenneth Rubagumia. He is in the house. Chaika wada tegeza counsel. Here too on Kaka is a reader. Semba J. Paul, Robert J. to Yachira, Aaron Kiza, Bambi number depo. Oine Kenneth na yakugambi Muganga Ambrose Ibabaza, Lilian Luwede na yabadde kwali wano Anita Sweetie Nuts banange naye bana Facebook bantu mmwe only agamba no employee who said that by the way agenda kuma omulimu because of your email. Email is JDK manya gali fan tegauta bagategana kabakachono omuntu nabaki okujja ko bude butuwedde ko naye alade kunyumiza ka story. Ani ono muchivi Jeremiah, thank you so much for watching bro. Mike Tamale ono colleague wange nasoma naye ku university live with you team Mathew, Edgar, Karuhanga, thank you so much. Ben Betty Nancy bana muli banji bantu bamu kama swa kuba malayo na kolwalero. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Mighty Drive. Ndoza kangende wa council tuwa kataleke ko siwe na bana Uganda bakula byolwalero si bana Uganda buka kwenye na abele South Africa bakulaba abale Dubai bakulaba kati basiwole sebo oba wakatalekeka akateka roketo kaba ku NBS akatereke DDT.
Akatalekeka just chakola
by the in your free time gatoli mu labor laws na bitse oliweka
tiche
why no mwana wa
muveko tiche mbasoka akaterekeka nti temnyo kugamba nti employers we have the right, we have the laws in place. Amatika we gali gawa edembe abantu, let the people enjoy their rights at work. Ate nature about employers, but if we do this way, people should have like umuntu abere kumurimunenga ari kumurimu awira achagara chakwara achagara chivya dara ku employee ngeda muisamu. Ate nature people should contracts. Yeah, people right. Even if go to agamba twega mulimu gamba nzingi wagana ye
okwekuma
kwange ebera security mayinti kintu bweti bawo contract yin wana ugobera mateka bakubuza mu awandika wa ubera simanyi yali vabo wakati vabo ebera nzibu ya ku enforcing na yakati ebera. So if that is done, then and also the rights of domestic workers, but they should end child labor. Abana babaje mukola tumanyi tebali mu COVID naye abana babaje mukola ebintu ebi
child labor simunje naye ataja kyogera manyi kyangu okwogera naye nga omwana naye yeetaaga sente. Until I started working in senior 1 and I was young, but
no working is okay, but what kind of work? That's where the problem is. Abana bali mukutema ebikajjo ebigazi with one myaka ko bari mukutema ebikajjo. So yes so
okay just to bully ebichi byagala okola mbisera bye
ebisera ebyedembe
bango olina omuntu bango oliwe
chengera kyamu
wali abarokera bari mukola I enjoy task mart
n'abalokole banywa
I school task mart is okay. My free time I watch wrestling. I go to wrestling. I follow wrestling like I follow football. Ngaba bakazi ngaba following abitera mundo. That's why I follow wrestling. And I do some bit of writing when I'm into something like now I'm into health. I'm reading out about it and my feet. I used to play football. Not in tears.
Anjukiza muto wange muzeyi we yabuzo yagala kuba ki ngali mu senior 5 nagamba ekiroto kye kyafira mu senior 3 kati bwe yebuuza kiroto kyafa kiti yali yagala kuba musawo ate nagwa biology subjects nayadala it ended in tears. Nenga Counsel tukwebaza fenga Mighty Drive webale kukuma budde webale kutuwa time era tusaba nti the next time wetukubira akasimu ngamba abantu bagala oyogereko nabo era otufisizeewo akadde ojja. I know it is very difficult to wake up early morning saa 12 oyo naye era ate tuwadde obudde nojja. Thank you very much. Tukusaba mukama akuwe mu kyosinga okwagala ennyo. Farida Bikobere gemanya gange nkoze ne Edgar Mathew Karuhanga omukyala Teddy Tenjo nabukera yatudde mu control room. Georgia Studio habwe yabadde ku kamera ate ikato tumusime yatuvuze olunaku lwaliro. Mbadde balabi balungi okuva eri gye twatandikidde ate paka waneeno gye tukomekereza program yaffe. Temwerabira we have the voltage sawa ebeeremu olweggulo paka sawa 3 Monday ne Friday. So olunaku lwaliro bamikwano mwekuumireko tubeere nga tubagamba kituufu lumbiye waali oba taliiwo mumbeja Lilian Luwedde ajja kubanga ate ayogerako oba okyogeddeko mu your news bulletin lwaki tebakyogerako eri ate nkuwulidde naawe okyogerako wamma mubadde balabi balungi nnyo enkya tusuubira okubeera n'omulangira Nakibinge Kekimbugwe ku Mighty Drive. So tubasaba mbeereeko ate tubeereko ne kye tuyiga bya buwangwa nnono Buganda n'ensi yonna okutwaliza wamu. Tulabagane olunaku olw'enkya essaawa ejja kuba ye. Have a good day.
Good day.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.